What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. In today's episode, I sit down with Brandon Lumby, and Brandon has already joined me on a business breakthrough, which I love because it's always good to piggyback on what we learned before and hit new different areas of his business. And in today's episode, I sit down with him while he's on vacation, as he tells me about a pivotal milestone in his business where he's allowed to go on vacation while his business is running. And I love that. And we just refine some of his processes, talk shop, and come up with a plan going forward to make sure he can always go on vacation and his business is always going to be strong. So thanks again for listening to the Contractor Seekers podcast. Enjoy today's business breakthrough. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's going on, everyone? I'm here with Brandon Lumby, part 3. It's our third one. Best Choice Painting. And a quick recap. Last time we spoke, you had someone in your business who you told me you thought was going to work out. He was a veteran painter, but just didn't really listen. I think there was a situation where you talked about how he didn't want to use drop cloths. And I was like, well, I don't know if he's going to be a long-term solution. What happened?
So you were right. Surprise, surprise. He did not pan out. He ended up quitting on me. I was left in a place like back doing things by myself.
Right.
Kind of like, I don't know if I can do this again by myself. And that turned into, I was running 3 guys this summer. I had 3 employees under me,
Nice.
all on payroll. And
Good.
I ended up finding my lead guy. I'm pretty sure indefinitely. So all good things stemmed from it. And it was a learning lesson. So
Yeah. So you knew what not to look for at that point in time.
Yeah.
And it sucks because those guys are usually pretty good. You know, you find a veteran and they're good. It's just like when it comes to like creating a system, dude, it's like you just can't have somebody that does things their own way, because like the business has to operate in unison, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you get people that have been doing it for 20 years, man, you know, and they switch gears trying to do it their own way. It just doesn't work. So what's going on now? How many? So you still have those 3 guys, or what's it looking like now?
No, I just have my one guy. We're obviously based in Wisconsin, so we jump to interior in the winter.
Okay.
So I have my one guy. I'm in California right now, but he's out there. I got him looking at jobs. He
Nice.
did a couple small little jobs. I've trained him from nothing, and he is become a proficient painter within like 4 months, 5 months.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't have the knowledge. You know, they say like the difference between a veteran and a newer painter is the veteran knows how to fix any kind of problem. So he doesn't have all that. He doesn't know have all the product knowledge that I do. But he'll get there. He's super smart, super coordinated. He's got everything that you'd want.
Shows up on time, you know.
Shows
the
up
whole
on time. Yep.
Yeah.
He shows up every time.
How does that feel?
Feels good, man. He's awesome. He's actually become one of my best friends too. So yeah, it's really, really good. I'm super happy.
It's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, he's actually kind of a family friend, sort of. So, you know, that's why I said like, I feel like this will be probably indefinitely. So
yeah, that's great, man. And you know, one thing that I've learned as a business owner is even when something is going really great, it always has to be improved. Like, and I've learned that because there's been situations where I've had an excellent employee and I found that. I remember when I first found somebody that I could trust to like watch a job. But all that gave me permission to do was spend time on how I can make his job easier, right? Like I could easily run my business with 2 crews of 3, you know, but I said, you know what? Let me do 4, even though it's going to cost me more. it's going to create a better team environment with 4, and it's going to take the load off of my lead guy, because in the same way you as a business owner have the responsibility to like go find jobs, market, sell, he
Yep.
has his responsibilities as a project manager. He has to make sure the customer's okay. He's got to keep your timeline. He's got to make sure application's correct. There's things that are going on outside of what he's got to focus on that he needs help with. Preparation, minuscule tasks. But I think that you might say the word indefinitely. I personally don't think that. I think that's a comfort word in a sense that, like, if things stay the same, he's going to stay. And that's and it's exciting now, but he's human like we are, and it's like humans crave variety and change. And it doesn't mean that he wants to change jobs, but I think like the difference between him working alone and then having that solid team around him could make all the difference in the world. So have you thought about that? I mean, are you actively planning on trying to get him some people to work around?
Yeah. So my plan is to do the 2 crews this summer, and he's going to run his own. I'll run my own, and I'll kind of oversee both. So yeah, and I know indefinitely, definitely might have been the definitely might have been the wrong word. I know better than that, but it just feels like he'll be with me for the foreseeable future. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and you
who
can see
knows?
that, and you can, yeah, for sure. It's not who knows. It's like we want to keep great people with us. Like
Yeah,
that's you can't build a business without it. Like you want to keep them there, but it's like you got to recognize, like you brought him from, like you said, he didn't know anything to now you're giving him these new roles, and he's checking out jobs for you, and he's relaying information back, and he's doing these jobs, dude. That's huge. My thing is that just don't get comfortable. That's what I gotta say is like with that is like you gotta like think like, okay, how can I let him be great at what he's great at and find supporting roles? And you're saying, well, I want to start up a second crew too. I've been there, and I think that that's just going to create more time for you in the field if you're managing a second crew. You already found one guy. There's more of those out there, bro.
yeah,
You know, there's more of those out there. You need to be looking for that second guy and having him work with this guy. So when it's time to branch off to that second crew, you already got 2, dude, and you're where you are. You're good right now. I can see
yeah,
it. You're relaxed.
yeah,
It's nice. It's nice.
yeah. It was a great year, man, and I'm sure you saw the market was just nuts this year. I never thought I'd see prices like I've seen, and
Dude, yeah. I mean, I think it's all the people that wanted their house painted or cabinets done in 2020, plus the people that wanted them in 2021. Plus, I mean, so you're just doing cabinets?
oh no, we do it all.
You're doing house
About
painting too?
Yep, yep. We do exterior, interior, cabinets, trim, whatever. We do it all.
So
I
up
wouldn't.
into this point, let's talk about kind of like the strategy going forward. Like what's stopping you from making those hires? Like what's stopping you from actively like putting out those ads and planning on building that team right now?
Um. So right now, I'm obviously on vacation. I took the. I'm pretty much. I got a couple more jobs that we'll do before the end of the year, but my year is kind of over, and I have the luxury to do that. I don't
Just
plan on.
coasting through the year?
Yeah. So beginning of next year, I jump in head first again, and that's kind of how I've done it
Good.
the past couple of years. I've been going nonstop since last year, January. Uh,
Yeah.
I just like in the summer started to take weekends off. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So you've been going, so that's good, man. So, but I'm sure you're utilizing this time to plan, and I think that this might be the last summer where you just get to kind of like, not, excuse me, last winter where you kind of just get to like coast, because coasting is easy with one guy. Like it's almost like you can find one job, he's good for 2 weeks,
Yep.
But once you build that team, man, they might not have that luxury to just coast. So,
I know. Yeah,
but that. I mean, what's the ultimate goal for you, man? Like, what do you ultimately want to create in your business?
man, I want to build an empire. I Sky's the limit.
I love that, man.
I yeah, I want to. I mean, I've always said I want to double in size each year. Um, so this year was getting. I said one employee. I ended up with 3 in the peak of it. Next year I want to do 2 crews. And actually, I'll definitely be taking your advice and trying to find a second guy to run that second crew instead of myself.
Yeah, just go in there with that mindset because, like, I think, if you go in with the mindset that you're going to be running that second crew, all you're doing is occupying space and training that someone else could be doing that. And you can just oversee, right? And then eventually that role will be replaced maybe by this guy. This guy who you have now will be the overseer of both crews, and he'll be running to get the paint and doing the estimates, and it's like, it's all about being able to maximize your resources, man. And I think that you as a business owner, you've created a good brand, the system, you know how to sell, you have a solid person, dude. This is the hardest thing in business, is to get that first person, bro. And you've done it, so the worst thing that you could possibly do is stop there. And I know you're not doing that. I know you're just taking a breather, hitting it hard, but if you want to build an empire, next winter is not going to look like this.
No,
it's not.
So you're telling me to
not.
soak it in.
Soak it in, bro. But you know what? It could, though. It's going to come with a little bit more responsibility. That's all. It's like you could still next winter be in California enjoying. It's just, you also got to know that, hey, I need more jobs, during that winter. So it's going to require a lot more planning to sustain whatever your team looks like during that time, and that's going to require effective marketing and really just paying someone to zero in on interior work. So like you're flooded with interior work throughout this whole duration of a cold season, like that's what the heavy hitters do. Nick Slavic, I mean, he's got, he doesn't stop there. Like there's no off season for him. He's got 25 employees,
Yep.
So he would be somebody great to pay. What's that?
Yeah. I said, he's really close to me too. I hope to go one day, check out his operation, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. He's he's the best in the industry from what I see. Him and Jason Paris, and I don't think anybody could be considered the best in the industry if they don't go through a winter and know how to navigate through a winter as a painting company, because that's something I have the luxury of painting outside all year long. So it's a little bit different for me. So kind of just want to know, like, is there any area of your business where you're feeling a little uncertain in, that maybe you want a different perspective?
Let me think here. I mean, it's been I've had trouble, kind of had trouble finding the right people. You know what I mean? Screening them and that kind of thing. I hadn't really been doing formal
It sucks,
interviews.
Right?
Yeah,
it sucks. It's the worst. It really is, and it's hard with a plan. Imagine the difficulty without a plan, because then it's just like you're inundated with applicants. You're trying to look through them, and you're like, I don't want to make a bad decision. I've been burned 8 times before. Dude, it's the worst. I love talking hiring because at the very least we're going to come away with something. I will say that it would be much harder if you were trying to find the individual that you now have. Let's put it that way. And through a family friend, however you made that happen, don't think it's going to happen again, but you're good because you're secure in that regard. Okay. Yeah. Now it's time to cast the net. And what you got to identify first is what the heck you're looking for. That's number one, because you can look, there's different tiers of people that we can find. Somebody with management experience, somebody with customer service experience, somebody with painting experience, somebody who is someone in construction that never learned painting, but who that type of personality is. If they're just a worker and they're willing to learn, like, first of all, like, you got to understand, like, in anything, that's why I asked you what your goal was. You want to build an empire. Like, so for you, it's like, I want to hit it. You gotta have a hiring system if you want to build an empire. In other words, you need to be able to take people with no experience, plug them into your system, and turn them into someone that can produce a good result, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So first of all, you got to identify, what does that team look like for you? And based off of what you told me, you've seen a team of 3 produce work, right? And you were comfortable with that, right?
Yeah, I loved it. It's fun.
Right. So I'm going to call the guy you have now, he's A. And essentially, I'm assuming that you've taught him how to spray, cut, and roll, right?
Yeah.
And you've also seen how he interacts with customers, right?
Yep. He's great. Yep.
Friendly, right? Friendly, personable, accommodating, patient, right?
Yes. Yep. Sometimes I think
How's his
people like more than me.
That's good.
Yeah.
How's his communication with you? Does he text back fast? Does he answer the phone?
We're working on that. And actually I talked to
Okay.
him about that this morning. So
Because it's important, especially with you being on vacation. You want to know what's going on, right?
very, yeah. Very
Okay,
much.
cool. So suggestion, get rid of the text messages, maybe get a chat app like GroupMe. It's weird, but it's different. And maybe when he looks at his text messages, it stresses him out. But he knows when he goes to GroupMe that it's where work gets communicated about. Something like that. If that helps, it might be like, hey man, download this app. This is where we'll keep all of our business communication.
Yeah. What's it
And
called?
free. It's called GroupMe. GROUP. Yeah, GroupMe.
Okay.
You can do Slack. Slack is free. That's another one. I like Slack. And then that's where your team is going to communicate. As you hire people, you should say, hey, we have this group chat where we communicate about stuff. So if we got to zero in on communication, definitely try to have an app that's different than texting, because even WhatsApp, actually, even if you do WhatsApp, so this way you just keep all business communication centralized. So that might help. All right. So communication's about a 2 out of 5. Everything else is a 5 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially what you have is somebody acting in that ownership role, which is a project manager. Okay. So you found the project manager. Now, what would be the best type of individual to hire underneath him to help him maximize, right? So on a normal paint job, you need somebody that understands what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, to the standard of which it needs to be done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's the quarterback. So he needs probably the second person that he should have on his team is somebody that knows how to paint, that has painted at some point in time in their life, but doesn't need to be a manager. They don't need to be, it's a benefit for them to be accommodating and patient and have customer service experience, but really that person works for this guy and he needs to have painting experience. So now, the second person you need is somebody who has painting experience that only knows how to cut and roll. Okay.
Yep.
All right. What's that going to do? That's going to be an asset to him because he doesn't have to train him on how to paint. He just has to train him on the way that your company paints. Right.
Yeah.
So when you're putting out an ad, first of all, you're going to create an appealing ad, dude. It's got to be appealing. In other words, it's got to be, hey, we have a better opportunity than where you currently are. We don't have time for anybody that's unemployed. Okay. We want somebody that is working for someone else that wants to jump ship to Best Choice Painting. Like that's the mentality we have to have. You at one point worked for a painting company or no?
Yeah, I have, but yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, smaller ones. Yep.
Smaller ones. Picture yourself as that painter. What would have been appealing to you if you got frustrated on a Friday looking at your paycheck, or maybe you got yelled at on Thursday when you did something and you knew you did it right, but the boss just was having a bad day? What's something that would make you think to apply for Best Choice Painting? Like what would that ad have to say for you to say, you know what, I want to go there. I don't even care if I don't make more money. I want to go because of what this ad says. Tell me what you think that would have been, Brandon, a couple years back. What would have been for you?
Oh man, like positive work environment, accommodating, something accommodating.
Right.
The pay obviously is
Sure.
a huge thing.
Okay.
Opportunity for growth.
Opportunity for growth, which is true. It sounds like, because you're trying to build an empire and you're looking for people that want to take ownership, and you want to provide them with a crew and a truck, and you want to so you're looking opportunity, teamwork, right? Autonomy, yes. No micromanaging here. We don't need to micromanage you. So positive work environment, accommodating, accommodating corporate office, right? People, build HR department. We have, weekly pay, direct deposit, pay stubs, everything's done by the book. Opportunity for growth, team environment, open line of communication, the best possible homeowners to work for because they trust our brand and our name, right?
Yeah.
And you're coming from, and maybe there's somebody who's working for some general contractor who gets no recognition, no appreciation, and they come across that ad, right? So that's what we got to create in the ad. That's how important the ad is, because the ad can't just be looking for painter, $18 an hour, must have transportation and tools. We provide all the tools. You don't need, if you have tools, great, but we'll make sure you have what you need. So that's another thing you want to add in, because that's what you're seeing in these ads. Comb through what you're at, with other painting contractors are putting out there, and look at that and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to frame it in a way that says, hey, we are a better opportunity. Come apply with us. So that's what our number 2 role needs to be, is somebody with experience, because again, putting the responsibility of training on that guy you have is not going to work out well. It's going to take him away from managing the job, the customer, and it's going to slow him down. Your job is to facilitate and put in the right resources. So number 2 should be someone with experience. In terms of the filtering out process, you need to put it out exactly what you're looking for. Must have 2 years of painting experience, must know how to cut, roll, prep, must, be friendly, must have a great personality, all these things. Whatever you want, you need to put it in the ad. Okay.
Yeah.
If they apply to that and they don't align with that, you'll know that very quickly. You'll say, hey man, you don't align with what we're looking for. Okay. It's number 2. Then your process is to filter them out. Number 1, you have the application. You should reach out and do a phone interview. That's number 1. Hey, what are your goals? Where are you currently working? What do you like about your job? What don't you like about your job? What are you looking for in this new place that you want to work? Why do you want to work for us? What can I expect out of you? Are you an on-time person, or are you somebody that feels as though, you can show up a few minutes late, but still get the job done? Do you tell me about a time where you completely dropped the ball, and let them unravel their personality on the phone. And then you say, okay, before you freaking meet them, let's get that out of the way before they waste your time. If you're feeling good, and you will, because I've had people, bro, I've called on a phone interview at 12 o'clock. They sounded like they just got out of bed.
I know.
And I'm like, unfortunately, man, I'd ask a couple questions, say, all right, well, we'll keep you in consideration, and just gone. So it's like, for me, I can really gauge if I'm going to actually spend my time to meet this person. And they're excited on the phone. They'll be like, oh, I'm looking for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Like, those are the people you want, man. Then you say, all right, well, here's the next step of our hiring process. Because again, here's one of my principles. If you make it hard to attain, it's going to be hard to give up. Right. So if you just let somebody start, then how easy is it for them to just leave? They didn't earn it. So it's like, they're not giving up anything. But somebody will second guess compromising your values if they went through a phone interview and an in-person interview and a working interview and a 30-day, just a 30-day, hey, you know what, after 30 days, we'll sit down and do an assessment to offer you employment indefinitely, so, it's always trying to create these tiers as a business owner. You're going to learn that, structure. So that's what I have to say about that in terms of the hiring process. Number 3, third guy on your crew. So you have your A guy who's a manager in training. B guy, he knows how to paint and roll, but we want to refine his skill set. And who's your 3? Somebody with absolutely no painting experience, just a helper that just wants to work.
Yeah.
You can find them at the grocery store if you have a good interaction with someone. Hey, you looking for something different? Those are easy to find. But once you have that solid team of 3, man, guess what happens? Your number 3 starts to turn into your number 2. If you do it right, he learns how to paint, cut, and roll. And then your number 2 starts to turn into the number 1. He turns into a manager.
Yeah.
And then you create your own system of growth. That's how that works.
That makes sense.
And that's simple. So when you told me I want to start another crew, I'm thinking, dude, you got to first refine how that works. Because instead of trying to randomly create crews, focus on just one crew and grow that second crew organically. It's gonna work out way better. So,
Yeah, that's solid advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, grow it organically. Take your time. Like, don't just because 2 crews right off the bat, you're going to run into a lot of problems if you just try to pop up 2 crews and you're going to be running all over the place. And it's like, it's better to create one solid freaking crew, dude, and organically grow it into 2 very slowly,
Yeah.
and do it that way. So I think that that'll wrap it up, man. I just wanted to chat with you, man. And I hope that was that helpful.
Absolutely, man. It always is. And it's always a pleasure talking to you and a privilege. And I thank you, brother.
man. And I appreciate you being and you're also a moderator in my group. Keep it
I've been slacking a little bit lately.
Now you're on it's a lot of work, man. It's 55,000 people in there.
I know, it's my second job.
Yeah, dude. So I appreciate the help, man. Thanks, bro. If you ever need anything, let me know. But I think you got it from here, man.
All right.
Enjoy the vacay, bro. Keep me updated. All right, buddy.
Yeah, will do.
All right, man.
Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved, and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.